Hi guys, and welcome to video 1 of the Meet Your True Self video series. Today's topic is going to be judgment. In order to live a truly empowered and authentic life, we must release judgment. So where does judgment come from, right? Judgment of ourselves comes from different points in our lives when we were told that we were basically not enough. When we were told that in order to be worthy of others' love and affection, we had to change or hide certain parts of ourselves. You can't really live an authentic life if you are constantly morphing into this character and putting this version of yourself out there in order for approval. Okay, so this self-judgment, a lot of times the way that it pops up and the way that it looks for us is ego. Ego is that inner dialogue in your mind that talks to you all day long. And I notice with my clients a lot of times, how I ask them, how is ego talking to you? How do you talk to yourself in your mind? Are you saying to yourself, good job? Or, oh, that's okay. You can try again tomorrow. Or you did your best. Like, you're so amazing. Right? Usually I find that is not the case. I even know for myself that was not the case for a very long time. Usually when you have ego talking to you, it's very negative, very condescending, and very belittling. And the reason why ego is doing this to you and the effect of your self-judgment is it's distracting you from really living in your full potential. It's robbing you of your ability to really grow and flourish the way that your, soul, the way that your spirit was intending for you to flourish here on this earth. All of that judgment that we experience, all those times that we were told that we were not enough, that we were not worthy, those are other people's truths. They're not your truth, right? When we were told that we weren't, pretty enough or thin enough, or we weren't good at math, or you weren't good at writing, or, you were too loud, or you were too quiet, or you were too shy. All these things are other people's opinions of you, and they're not your truth, right? But ego and that self-judgment and that inner dialogue just keeps reaffirming those lies that other people have about you. And like I said, that is really robbing you of living in your authentic self. Constantly having that negative narrative that's insulting and belittling you, it's causing you to live this life of shame and guilt, and it's causing you to be small and weak, and you keep on taking these parts of you and making you smaller instead of going after your ideas, going after your passions, really going for your dreams, or looking at relationships and saying, this is not for my highest good. I deserve better. That's what self-judgment really does. It robs you of that thought that you deserve better. You deserve a lot more, and you can do it. So like I had mentioned before, it's extremely important to live in your authentic self and to be empowered. You have to release this self-judgment. So when this self-judgment pops up in your head, when ego pops up in your head and it starts insulting you, what I want you to do, and really good advice that was given to me, was stop and say to yourself, is this how I would talk to my best friend? Is this how I would talk to my kids if they came to me with a problem? Would I respond the way that I am within my head? I guarantee that it's not. We are so much kinder and so much more forgiving and allowing of the people that we love and support them, but we don't do that for ourselves, right? So sit there with that. Think about, how you would, like I said, say to your best friend if they came to you with that problem, and how you talk to yourself, and you'll see that stark difference there. That was very eye-opening to me to realize how horribly I was talking to myself all the time in my head, and the negative effects, obviously, that was going to have on me in really being a powerful woman. I was my own worst enemy. You deserve to love yourself and to treat yourself with kindness and compassion the same way that you would a friend or your child, or, something like that. In order to be a truly empowered, authentic individual, you have to be your best friend. You have to be in your corner cheering you on. You have to be sending love and support and kindness to yourself all along this journey, because life is hard. We make a lot of mistakes. We find ourselves in a lot of situations that are lessons. Some lessons keep on happening and keep on repeating. And, some are very hard to go through. And if you're not in your corner, who is going to be? The way that we treat ourselves, the love that we send to ourselves, that is a blueprint and a guide for other people on how they're going to treat us. The way you treat yourself is the way other people treat you. You invite in that energy. All right. So after today and watching this video, I really want you to focus on that and realize how you are sabotaging yourself on a daily basis with that horrible negative self-talk that you're giving yourself. So when that happens, flip the switch. Think, is this how I would talk to a friend? And then I want you to say to yourself what you would say to that friend. I want you to say to yourself and talk to yourself the way that you would like a friend or a child. And keep doing that. Do that all the time going forward, not just from this video and not just today. Make that a new thing that you do for yourself. Be your own best friend. Send love, send compassion, and send support to you. And release that self-judgment. You have to get rid of it so that you can make space and open in self-love. Because self-love is the other side of self-judgment. All magic flows from love. I work a lot with witches, and they say that when they're having problems with their craft and what they're doing, if you don't have self-love, if you don't have that power, love is definitely the most powerful emotion, the presence of it or the lack of it. Love is the most powerful. And if you don't have self-love, if you don't have that strength inside of you, your magic and your power and your authenticity, all of that your energy that flows from you is going to be unpredictable. It's going to be stagnant. And it's not going to work. You can't operate from a place of self-loathing and self-hate. So tonight, I have in the email, I have a lot of journaling prompts for you that I want you to do. Journaling is going to be a big part of this. It's a part of any, spiritual practice. Journaling is an excellent way to get to know you and your thoughts. When you journal, when you write, it robs ego of the chance, right? Ego used to rob us. We're going to rob ego this time. It robs ego of the chance to really get in there and, berate and belittle and attack you, because when you're writing, you're creating a space where ego can't really get in. It'll peek in, it'll pop in, it will, but tell it to step out. This is not time for ego, and really focus on the journaling questions that are in the email. But another thing that I wanted to mention to you guys was a ritual that I do a lot to release self-judgment. I work a lot with the goddesses, and I do a lot of craft. This is one of my favorite releasing self-judgment rituals. So what you're going to need for this ritual is you are going to need a candle. You are going to need a pen and paper. You are going to need a fire-safe container. I have a cauldron that I use. I have like a small cauldron, but you can, any pot, will do that you cook on the stove with. And roses, okay? Dry or fresh will work for this. And a mirror. So the candle, the pen and paper, the roses, and the fireproof container, and the mirror. Okay. What I want you to do, what I like to do this best, is you should be in a place where you're not disturbed. So maybe wait until the kids are in bed, or everything's done for the night. I like to do all of my rituals outside. There is something very magical about being outside and the energy, the universe, nighttime, under the stars, under all that fiery energy, right? The stars are fire. And try and do it on a night where you can be under the moon. Full moons are the best time for releasing energy, but any moon cycle will work with this because we are releasing judgment. So that will work with a waning moon, but we're also accepting self-love. So that will work with a waxing moon. So any moon phase that you find yourself on with this video will work, okay? So what you're going to do, you're going to get outside. You're going to have all of your tools with you set up. You could put a blanket down if you are not into sitting in the grass with all the bugs at night. And I want you to breathe. I want you to just listen, shut your eyes, take in all the sounds around you. I want you to look up at the moon and the stars. I want you to really soak up with all of your, your senses where you are in life right there. And I want you to take a breath, and I want you to just be in the moment for a little bit and sit with yourself. Sit with yourself, send love to yourself, and then I want you to pick a goddess that you want to work with. For this, I would usually work with Aphrodite. She's a very familiar goddess of love. You can do whatever goddess resonates with you. You can do Mother Mary. You can do Kuan Yin. Freya would be phenomenal for this. She's definitely a self-love goddess. And when you're ready and you feel grounded, you feel that you've done, have some very good deep breaths, and you're present where you are in this practice, I want you to light your candle, and I want you to say out loud, you're going to call in the goddess. So in this case for me, I would say, Aphrodite, I call to you now. I ask of you to come to me to help me learn and to see the woman or man that I am meant to be. I ask you to bless my ritual tonight and bestow upon me your gifts of beauty, love, and acceptance, and guide me as I release all that no longer serves me. Okay, and I want you to take that pen and paper as this candle is lit and you've invited in the goddess. I want you to write down all of your negative thoughts about yourself, all the lies that you've been told about yourself, about who you are, your shortcomings, the things about you that aren't worthy that you have to keep hidden, right? All of that negative self-talk, I want you to write it down on a piece of paper. Let it all out, okay? I want you to hold that piece of paper and I want you to sit with it. And when you're ready, I want you to light this paper on fire, all right, from this goddess candle that you have lit. And as you light this paper on fire, don't burn yourself. Drop it very carefully into I would use my cauldron or your pot that you have. And I want you to say, these are not my truths. These are lies that have been taught to me to hold me back. These are lies others have pushed on me to keep me down. Tonight, I declare I will no longer support these lies. This is not my story. Tonight, I begin to write my true story, the story of my spirit and the truth of my divine self. I've put an attachment so you guys will have the words for this ritual. And I want you to watch that paper burn, and I want you to fully release all of this energy. I want you to release this negativity and really feel that when you say these words, that this is not your story, that these are lies, these are not your truth, and I want you to release them. And now I want you to take your mirror, and I want you to take your roses that you have, or one rose, and I want you to pluck a rose petal and look in the mirror, and I want you to say something nice about yourself. I want you to say you're beautiful. I want you to say you are smart. I want you to say you are strong. I want you to say that you are worthy of a love that treats you the way that you're supposed to be treated. I want you to say as many good things about yourself that you possibly can. And each rose petal, for one thing, I want you to throw it on top of those ashes. And I want you to really sit there as long as you can and sit in this and let this wave of love and compassion come over you. And I want a couple of those rose petals to go in there for forgiveness. I want you to say, I forgive you. I forgive you for speaking to yourself this way. And we're not going to do that anymore. Okay? And when you're all done, I want you to thank the goddess for coming and sitting with you. Bask in her glory, have whatever conversation that you want to have with her, and then say goodbye and farewell. Blow out your candle, okay? And then you can take the remnants of your spell, your ashes and the rose petals, and I want you to bury them in the back of your yard. And then when you go to bed that night, I want you to put a vase of roses on your nightstand to remind you that from this day forward, we are not going to repeat these lies. We are not going to let ego keep us down and hold us back with all of this judgment and self-loathing and shame and embarrassment and guilt. And we are going to release all of that energy and invite in love and compassion for ourselves and forgiveness and self-acceptance. And by doing this, you are taking the first step in living an empowered life and meeting your true